Hey guys, TRScientist here, and today I am back for episode number 10 of r/NuclearRevenge. And today we're going all in the hands with 4 stories. Oh my gosh, the first story I saw, I'm like, I'm going all in on the hand stuff. We'll start off on the right and start with vengeance and justice with one hand. Been really wanting to post this, but unfortunately I myself have never exacted revenge, at least not worth posting. At least nothing worth posting. But I think this may be worth posting. TLDR at the bottom. Warning, contains a story about a Holocaust survivor. This happened to my dad's great-grand-uncle. I'll just call him Uncle. NuclearRevenge doesn't want acronyms. I never knew him. He died in 1998 when I was about 5. My dad didn't know him very well either. He was kind of reclusive. Uncle was a Holocaust survivor, but he never really talked about it. He never gave a testimony, never collected reparations, never went back to his homeland, Ukraine, never saw out if his friends or family survived. He just moved to the US, met up with the family he had there, and started over. Got married, had kids, all the while never saying much other than, I was there. The only reason we knew any details about this is because one night one of his sons got drunk and he spilled the whole horrible story. Later the son found out that the mother knew a fair amount too. She had fled her native land. I think it was Czechoslovakia. I am not going to try to pronounce that correctly. I'll just say Czech Republic for simplicity's sake. Just as it was being invaded, so she understood to an extent. But after that, he refused to say anything more. The son had been spending the past few years trying to find out more from records and stuff and such. I don't know too many details, unfortunately. I only met the son once, can't remember his name at all. Uncle was at a concentration camp. We're not sure which, but I think the son said it was the Dachau. But don't quote me on that. He was in his late 20s, not more than a day after he got off the train. An officer pulled him aside from the working line and began berating him about being lazy. He then said he needed to be made an example of so the others wouldn't slack off. He took out a cutlass and chopped off Uncle's left hand. The officer told him to get back to work and walked away laughing while Uncle bled out in the snow. The others tried to nurse him and keep him as healthy as he could, but the wound still got infected and he was sick and slow a lot. Luckily, the others picked up his work and helped him as much as they could. Apparently, Uncle had said that he had made peace with the fact that he was going to die there and be fed to the dogs. The officer continued to harass Uncle. He looked for any excuse to beat and demean him. It's a wonder he didn't just shoot him. He took away his food, his shoes, had dogs attack him, made him do tasks that required 2 hands, etc. When the camp was liberated, Uncle went up to a soldier and asked if he had captured any officers. He said they did, and he asked if they caught the officer that had tormented him, which he said while he showed the officer his stump wrapped in soiled bandages. The officer brought the officer to him, handcuffed, and had him on his knees. Uncle then, with soldiers around him, proceeded to choke the life out of the officer with his remaining hand. Evidently, it took quite a while, and apparently one of the soldiers offered Uncle their gun, but he stuck with slowly but surely choking the life out of the man that took his hand and tormented him and countless others. Oh boy, he's going for the death grip with... He's like doing the Darth Vader death grip. But not picking him up, of course. That'd be impossible. Afterwards, Uncle got a wooden hand, moved to America, got married, had kids. All the while, whenever someone saw his tattoo or asked him about the war or the camps, he'd just show him his wooden hand and say, I was there, I don't want to go back. I can't imagine the kind of PTSD he must have had from that experience. I can't imagine the pain and trauma it caused him. I doubt he ever got any real help either. It seems that he just took it all to the grave, but things like that shouldn't be forgotten, no matter how painful. They should be remembered, so we, as people, never allow something like that to happen again. I hope he was at least at peace with himself and got to enjoy the life he made after that ordeal. My TLDR, my dad's great-grand-uncle got his hand chopped off by a Nazi. Oh, I probably shouldn't say that word. Damn it. While in the concentration camp. At liberation, he proceeded to choke the to death with his good hand. What? Oh, the Hebrew prayer for the dead. Okay. Let's move over to the left side now. The time my dad's friends crushed a guy's hands for harming me. So this happened 2 or 3 months ago, so sorry for the limited details. Context, my dad has earned a lot of respect in our local area, and as he will always help his friends with anything they need, so without exaggeration, there are a fairly large number of regulars at our local pub that would happily do the same for him. And I mean it, as they would most likely happily go to prison to look after my parent, my sister, and me. Anyways, I do a lot of walking, both when home and at uni. And I was walking through our local park at home, and I noticed someone following me. Basically, I'm more or less bricking it, as I'm not willing to get my phone out in case he takes it, and I'm in the least populated area of the park where we are the only 2 people. I decided to speed up so that hopefully more people act as a deterrent. The guy starts talking bullshit to me and saying he needs help as his brother got stabbed. I knew he was talking rubbish as he was perfectly calm and relaxed, and I walked past him 2 minutes ago chatting with his mate. I tell him to leave me alone, and he kicks out at me, taking my legs away and making me basically land with my full weight on my left knee. God, that hurt when my adrenaline ran out. I got up because I didn't want to be kicked to a pole and made my way over to a dog walker who had just entered this area of the park. He allowed me to get to the cafe where I called my sister. She and my mum come pick me up from where I am and take me home. I put an ice pack on my ankle because him booting it as hard as he could made it bend wrong. Could still use it, so I knew it was fine. Anyways, my mum called my dad, who was at the pub with his mates, the ones who are willing to do anything to keep my sister and I safe. My mum relayed a very basic description from me to him, and not long later, he was home due to worry. My ankle kept seizing up by sitting on the sofa, so I got up and helped my mum with dinner. At this point, its seizing up was more painful than standing. Whilst helping, I went to get something from the fridge. Our fridge is in the lounge, right next to the kitchen, but not actually in the kitchen. My dad pulled me aside and said that his friends had caught up to the guy that did it and got revenge for me. They asked if he had gotten into an altercation with someone in the park. He said yes, and they threw him to the ground, stomped on his hands and phone, and threw his earphones down the drain. The fallout. Every time I walk through that park, especially that bit of it which I've only gone through twice in nearly 3 months, I get irrationally nervous and pay extreme amounts of attention to everyone I see. Never saw him again, though. I have also been left with a knee that hurts every time now, and then as well as if I accidentally bend it in certain ways that are usually fine. And again, I'm not worried about it, as while at uni, I walk nearly 10 miles a day and only occasionally need to stop to let it rest. Moral of the story, don't fuck with people if you don't think you can deal with a group of alcohol-fueled Londoners who are protective of your victim and his family. Oh, I have to read this edit. Silver, cool, thanks, guy. Human. That is my type of language. Oh my gosh. Okay, Peer the Just. Peter the Just Eye takes matters into his own hands, literally. In 1320, King of Portugal, Alfonso of Portugal, decided to get his son Peter to marry the daughter of Juan Manuel, Prince of Villena Constanta, in order to make an alliance. However, Peter fell in love with another woman, Inés de Castro. Constanza died in 1345, while Peter and Inés were still getting busy. Alfonso banished Inés, then had her assassinated. He sent 3 men after her, and she was decapitated in front of her kid. Oh, wow, okay. You can bet that Peter didn't take too kindly when he found out that his dad killed the love of his life because his dad didn't like Inés. Peter revolted, but failed, but gained the throne in 1357 after Alfonso died. Peter then tracked down 2 of the assassins, tried them, and killed them both by ripping out the assassin's heart with his bare hands. I can't make that up. He ripped out the heart with his hands. TLDR, do you know why the Just is in his name now? P.S. Yeah, stop shit posting about history. History posing. Well, the mods allow it. Ever wonder why they haven't taken them down? A mod even made a few historical posts. There is a flair for these historical posts. If you want, complain to the mods, but I doubt they will take you seriously. Not to mention, a majority of the sub actually find these posts interesting. But for everyone else, hope you enjoy this post. Have a nice day. Oh my goodness. Oh, wow. Just how do you actually be able to just, like, did he literally just force his hand into their chest and rip it out? Or, like, did they have, like, did he have to rip them open and take their heart out? Or did he have a knife and just cut them open, reach in, pull the heart out? I'm curious now. I did not know it was going to go the heart route. Last story, I guess, of the day. Steal my mac and cheese during dinner? How about for freehand? Apparently this has the tag, the Hot War. That is the Hot War, right? My eyes couldn't see it properly for a moment. This is a story me and my family always bring up when we are out with relatives. So anyways, when my mother was 8, let's call her YM for younger mum, she had a brother who we'll call B. B was about twice as old as YM was, and much larger than her too. At about 14, B took up the habit of snatching food from YM's plate during dinner, when no one was looking. This was, at first, small stuff like a couple of fries or some corn and peas. Eventually got to the point where B would swap out his plate with YM's plate. My mum would tell her parents this, and all B ever got was a couple slaps on the wrist, no actual punishment. After a few years of B doing this, my mum had enough. She knew the parents wouldn't do anything, so that Tuesday night, YM told herself that if he stole her food again, she would take matters into her own hands. Then the time comes and it's mac and cheese night. Sure enough, B took YM's plate again, and this time she grabbed a fork and stabbed him in the back of the head. B bled hard and began screaming bloody murder. My mum was immediately grounded, and B just needed to wear a bandage around his hand. B never stole YM's plate after that. TLDR, my mum's brother kept stealing food from her, so she ended up stabbing him in the head. I'm pretty sure there's like I'm trying to remember, there was a movie that I saw where there was a moment where a character gets stabbed through the hand. I don't remember what, although it could just be a cliche thing at this point. Oh my gosh. Hold on. We gotta read the edit. Also, for those of you who might be wondering, my mum did much worse things to her uncle, her brother, than this. She pushed him down a flight of stairs once and even hit him in the gut with a T-ball bat. I might post these stories once I go over some of the stories with my mum. I would like to hear the T-ball bat one. And also, I would like to hear both of those. Oh my goodness. Your mum and his brother had quite the battle. Oh, I'm going to end the episode here though. Links will be in the description to the main channel and also the second channel. With links on the screen to the playlist and the last episode. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when the next video comes out. A ding, a ding. Mad Scientist out.